Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Donaram.com podcast. And I'm Adam. I'm joined here tonight with my good friend Beau, and we're going to talk about a few topics while, of course, always enjoying a nice, crisp, refreshing Busch Light. Anyway, we'll jump right into it. Beau, how are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing. It's hard to have a bad day when you're sipping on a nice, cool, refreshing Busch Light.
Yes. Always hits the spot. I can't help but think about alignment here in the last couple of weeks. Of course, I've been listening to a lot of WoW lore lately, just trying to catch up on history. For whatever reason, I'm fascinated by it in this particular point in time. Anyway, so one thing they had done was they were trying to match some of the characters' alignments, and in particular, ones that were changing alignments throughout their story. And it got me thinking, what other characters have actually done that? I'll start us off with one that is fascinating.
Real quick
with me.
To clarify, though, we're talking about the traditional Dungeons and Dragons alignment chart.
Yes. If I didn't
the law axis and the moral axis.
Yes. They particularly were talking about Sylvanas or whatnot, and how she started off as, of course, probably lawful good, and now has become that lawful evil or whatnot. First off, do you agree with that? Where she is now at the beginning of Battle for Azeroth? Because it seems like, if I understand alignments correctly, you can be evil but still want order. It's just your view. It's just your view of the world. But I remember the particular podcast I was listening to. It almost sounded like they didn't have a good understanding of alignment because they were calling her chaotic evil. Like, she just wants to burn everything to the ground. But when I think of chaotic evil, I think of, like, the Burning Legion or whatnot. They just want everything dead.
Right.
But, thoughts?
Lawful evil for Sylvanas sounds really strange, because she's sort of always gone on her own thing. Like, even as War Chief, it's still Sylvanas' show. And what's funny about them going on, just harping on Sylvanas being evil, is I know a lot of Horde people that would just be absolutely, who says evil, because I still maintain that the Horde is not the bad guys.
Right.
It's insane to me that people still believe that.
Is that maybe because in Warcraft 1 it says the noble humans versus the evil orcs?
Right, but we've already established in lore why that happened.
Yeah.
Like, it was, it's been over 30 years. No, 20. Over 20.
Game time, it's over 30.
Game time is over 30. But in real life, it's been over 20 years since Warcraft 1. It's kind of weird that people is still... And most people were introduced in the series where I was, Warcraft 2, Tides of Darkness.
Yeah.
That's where most of us kind of fell into it. But Sylvanas, I would say, as Ranger General, probably a law... I mean, I don't know much about the Ranger General, Sylvanas Windrunner.
Other than that, she was, like, the best archer. And
she hated Arthas from the moment she saw him.
Yeah.
So there's
Arthas
that.
is the one that changed her, right?
Yes. She hated the Lich King with a fire-red-hot passion. She was the first one to fall out of his thrall.
Yeah.
Arthas would be a good one.
Oh.
Arthas would be a great one.
Well, he started off as lawful good.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. His story really echoes Anakin's. You could tell that the prequel trilogy was going on when they made that. Like, his story echoes Anakin's.
Oh, I've never made that
hardcore
connection.
Uther, in fact, even looks like Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Yeah. That whole thing, because Warcraft, it came out in 2002, so that's what... Episode 2 was 2001, was it?
Something like that.
Came out on DVD in like 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that whole sequence is just, very shades of Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yeah. Well, he quickly I can't remember almost that whole Frozen Throne or even through Wrath of the Lich King. I either don't remember it or played through it so quick and didn't read any of the text in it. But he still seemed like he was trying to maintain an order. He wasn't a burn everything to the ground type, was he?
The Lich King?
Or was he an agent of the Burning Legion, basically?
So, like, and it's been a long time since I've been versed in WoW lore, and it's been a long time since Wrath.
Sure.
So let's sort of muddle through this together. I really think that because see, the Ner'zhul was the Frozen Throne, and then Arthas kind of joined him, and they became one. That's the Lich King, and it was supposed to be for the Burning Legion.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. It was supposed to be, but he wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing. That's why Kil'jaeden wanted Illidan to kill him in the Frozen Throne.
Gotcha.
So, because Kil'jaeden was like, this ain't working out, or is it working out how I want?
Yeah.
I'm Kil'jaeden. My plots can last for centuries.
Yeah.
And obviously it didn't work out too well, because in Legion, of course...
Yeah. Yeah.
But, Kil'jaeden hadn't planned that far ahead, or he just didn't account for the fact that Illidan is his scars.
Oh my god. What do you do against someone who is their scars?
That is the like, what's funny is Illidan, the moment we see him in not the moment we see him, but we all remember the Burning Crusade.
Yeah.
You are not prepared.
Yes.
It's even repeated at the beginning of Legion in the Demon Hunters thing. And we're like, that was just sort of the classic meme line from Warcraft, and we never thought we'd get another one out of Illidan. And boom! Like,
no. Honestly, it keeps me going back looking for. It will keep me going back looking for more cinematics just for liners like that from certain characters or whatnot.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
It really is.
If you missed out on Legion, I am so sorry.
Oh my god, such good. I wish I had more time for that game. Only playing through one artifact weapon spec. Ugh.
I was I think the main reason why I'm not as in love with Battle for Azeroth is because Legion was just so good. It was Cataclysm might have been the greatest expansion ever, but we were fresh off of Wrath, so... Yeah. Anyway, this is quickly becoming another Blizzard shitfest.
And we were on Arthas. What did he shift to? He was lawful good.
Oh, it's so difficult to say, because, I mean, he behaved very chaotic evil, but he wasn't... I mean, there was method to the madness, so...
Sure.
I would say a neutral evil. I would say lawful evil is very difficult to say because it's not like he had a code or anything he was following.
Still staying within Blizzard, but bridging that, Kerrigan feels like someone similar to Arthas.
Sarah Kerrigan has, very different from Arthas because she did have the corrupting thing. We did find out I don't think there was any hint in Brood War at all of Amon.
Oh my god, we've had this discussion, and I meant to go back and look to see if there was anything that references the Dark God. I don't know. I'm
pretty sure, because Amon is just, basically, by the time we get to the end of StarCraft 2, we just found out he's just a Xel'Naga gone bad, right?
Oh, yeah, he is a Dark Xel'Naga.
Anyway, so Sarah Kerrigan is a ghost, neutral good.
That's fair because she's kind of part of the rebel faction. She's the one that's with Arcturus that's trying to form the new government, even though she doesn't really know that he's planning this big overthrow.
And not to make this a Blizzard podcast again, but I do want to say, just because I can't talk about this, belay that order is probably one of the most impactful lines in fiction.
Oh my god!
Ever, because you had no idea Arcturus Minx was a bad guy.
Yeah.
He was noble. He was very idealistic.
Yeah.
I mean, Raynor and Kerrigan both were all about him.
Yeah.
And then she just, ready for my evac, boys. And I just remember being like 12 playing StarCraft, like, yeah. And then he goes, belay that order. And you're like, what?
Yes. If only he knew.
She'll die, Minx. She'll die.
Yeah.
And then Raynor, like, Minx, don't do this. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
There ain't no comeback. Like, God damn it, that is good storytelling.
Yeah. That was the edge of your seat. You're watching that cutscene.
12 years old.
Yeah, that's heavy stuff.
I mean, that is just incredible. Like, I mean, just to pull that, because I mean, the whole Terran campaign, you're helping that guy.
Yeah.
And what's he do for you? He kills your woman.
Yes, that's right. God, that was.
But
so
you're
good.
not playing as Jim Raynor in StarCraft.
No,
1.
you're
unnamed
kind of
commander. Yeah,
exactly.
But anyway. So the Sarah Kerrigan that died on.
How do you define neutral good?
Neutral good is you're good for good's sake.
Yeah.
If you know what, if the cops are doing good, you're gonna help the cops. You got no problem against it. Whereas a chaotic good person might be like, smells like bacon up in here, you know, like, so, and you know, if the hoods across the track, you know, if they're doing something that's good, you're gonna go and help them. Whereas a police officer might be like, so
you're not being arrested today,
right? So yeah, that it's
I
good
see your
for goodness
point,
sake.
though.
So
I see the cause. I'm going for the cause.
Yep, it didn't really seem to matter to Kerrigan.
Does that make the Rebel Alliance neutral good?
Absolutely.
In Star Wars?
Absolutely, because what was the Rebel Alliance's goal? They wanted to establish a new government.
Yeah.
Now Jim Raynor is as chaotic good as they come, and he's that through all StarCraft.
Yeah.
Jim don't like orders.
No, because even at the end of
even
StarCraft
as Marshal
2, he doesn't like join one side or another. He's just back in Joy Ray's bar.
Yep. Even
doing
as
Jim Raynor
on Marsara, correct?
Marsara.
Where is it? Was it Core Hall where Sarah Kerrigan died?
Oh my gosh.
Was it the homeworld?
I want to say Core Hall.
Because they were the sons of Core Hall.
Yeah.
That was the faction. And that's where he rebuilt the Empire.
I almost want to say Tarsonis. Now I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, look that up. But anyway.
Because Core Hall, I thought, there was an assault on Core Hall, which is the capital world at the end of StarCraft Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah, and are we ready to say that Heart of the Swarm was the best one? Heart of the Swarm kicked ass. And I know that you still disagree with it.
It was great. I particularly loved getting those backstories on the Zerg. The primal Zerg.
Because we don't know shit about the Zerg other than the Zelnaga made them. And there you go. But
that's where that story I felt like started to splinter into a bigger universe, like what WoW was able to do.
Yep.
And actually, in listening to the lore podcast of the history of WoW, or at least in 2015 or whatnot, and hearing them talk about the books and that, I have a new appreciation for what you're talking about whenever you say there's a lot of stuff to work with there. Because in this stuff they're talking about in the lore with WoW, I would have never guessed that any of that's going on while I'm playing through the MMO.
Oh, there's tons. Warcraft is the bigger, more expanded lore, but I still stand by this today.
But I see what you mean. In StarCraft, they have so much there that they could actually work with, and we should be having alignment conversations about a whole lot of other people.
Yeah, because the thing is, I've said this a billion times, pound for pound, I like StarCraft's story better.
Yeah.
But I have to say pound for pound because there's just not as much of it because they just have never cared as much.
Yeah.
And as far as which one's the better RTS, I think that's the world's already answered our question for us there. But no. So you found out yet?
No, not yet.
Anyway, so when she, up until belay that order, neutral good, I think, for Sarah Kerrigan, the ghost.
Yeah.
So here's the big one. What does she come out of the chrysalis as?
She's still. That's after the Overmind, isn't it? Or no, the
Overmind's still there.
There's a point where she is still part of the Overmind. The Overmind, what was it? We'd have to know his alignment first because she's sort of an extension of him.
So the Overmind, God, that's hard to say. Because his whole thing is just expand the Zerg.
Yeah.
It's not really about good or evil. It's not like, But he is pretty... I don't know.
He's not a burn it to the ground, because Burning Legion, they didn't like the old gods or the Titans. And they kind of like define good and evil between them. They're just get rid of everything.
Sargeras was charged with destroying the Burning Legion.
Yeah.
He was destroyed. He was charged with bringing order to the universe. The more he fought against chaos, the more he came to believe that order was the lie and chaos was the truth.
Yeah.
So Sargeras, as far as he's concerned, is setting the true order to the universe, chaos.
Yeah.
So that's his plan. So, but the Overmind's not really about that. Now, he does... It really seems like it is a targeted genocide against the Protoss for him.
Antigua Prime.
Wow, we were just both...
Yeah, that we're way off.
We were shooting the broadside of a barn there.
I, for note, claim to be no expert on this. I just play the games and I love them.
Exactly.
Even if I run through them without reading every detail.
So when she, so it does seem to be a targeted genocide against the Protoss. He does seem pretty methodical about like, hey, I know we're just expanding. I know we just want to grow, but I want one of these dead.
They're trying to assimilate everything into the Zerg too.
That's true.
To strive for
and so the only
perfection.
the only reason they're targeting the Protoss really is because the game, like, we got to go after one of these guys, and the Terran. And the great thing about the Terrans in StarCraft is they don't really matter. Like, there's never a point in the StarCraft lore where like it's really important that the Terrans are there.
No,
like,
they kind of just show up, or they're in the way.
Because all of that whole Civil War that you played through that got Kerrigan killed, doesn't really matter.
No, each time I played through that, it almost reminded me of. This is going to sound like a stretch, but in Star Trek, The First Contact, where they've actually done something significant enough to be noticed by the rest of the universe. Yeah. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, that's probably what they were going for. That's probably not that much of a stretch. When she comes out of the Overmind, it's...
But she really did have her own consciousnness, or like her own set.
She was clearly vengeance driven. Like she was betrayed. She came out knowing how betrayed she was.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the only thing she didn't hate in the entire universe at that time was Jim Raynor.
Yeah, although I will say she does get confronted a couple of times about just wanting to go after Arcturus, and she plays it off. But as the game progresses, especially into StarCraft 2, she just rids herself of that because she doesn't have the Overmind to answer for anymore. She is the Queen of Blades. Mm-hmm. Nobody else's opinion matters. Hers does. Perfect the swarm, get minks, but she still wants to set the swarm off. She wants to set them up good and with a solid leader so that they survive. Mm-hmm. So in that case, she still wants the order, but I almost hesitate before I say like she's just chaotic or not.
So I think we can agree when she comes out of the Chrysalis for the remainder of StarCraft 1, vanilla StarCraft 1. Mm-hmm. I almost want to say the Overmind's neutral. Because, I mean, he's just expanding. He's just perfecting the swarm.
True neutral or chaotic neutral?
True neutral.
Really?
He's got, I mean, it's, like, it's literally nothing personal, kid.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I do. This is what, so if Kerrigan's an extension of him for the remainder of StarCraft 1, then yeah. But then Tassadar kills the shit out of him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, just runs a spaceship right into that motherfucker.
That hurts. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, Tassadar, man, Raise hell, praise Dale.
He is.
he
at least needs to enter a demo derby in one of the state fairs. That's for sure. Like if they
Kicking
don't have
tires,
states
lighting
anymore,
fires.
if they don't have, oh, that's right. We haven't said
We
who we
haven't
wish
mentioned our sponsor.
who we wish would sponsor us. Michelin, kick the tires, light the fires. And,
It's lost all effect at this point. But.
Well, I still could use a set of tires, and if it takes me saying, "Hey, Michelin's okay," then
Is that who you're gunning for? Is that what you're gunning for? You're going to put some Michelins on her?
I can't think of a better slogan. And they were the first tire company that popped in my head, and if they're free and they stay flated, then I'm okay.
Well, if Makita has still not contacted us from that one, just gold. I mean, I
do have a couple of voicemails, but they're likely not from Makita being like, "Boys, you got the gift."
Lordy, yes, we got to beat the competition.
Yes, we do. Need
No,
to beat that competition.
So when the Overmind dies, that's really when she takes over the Swarm and becomes Queen of Blades. But
then
we
she's
find
vengeance, just almost purely vengeance driven.
But we find out that that's not really Kerrigan.
Correct.
That's Amon.
Yeah.
Amon, I would feel pretty safe saying is chaotic evil.
That's true. He is out to just destroy everything.
And I don't think we're ever given a really solid motive on Amon other than just, I'm mean. I want people hurt.
There's probably some lore there we don't know, but yeah, for some reason he decided to turn on the other gods.
They might have left it vague on purpose because they're like, "Hey, Chris, this is just Sargeras," and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm retired."
That's what I was honestly having that thought here because Sargeras, is he a Titan or an old god?
He's a Titan. He's a Titan.
And he's considered the Dark Titan, right?
The Mad Titan.
So, Amon.
Yep. No, yeah, I mean, so he probably left it vague because he probably realized it was just Sargeras, and he's just like, you know what, we'll just leave it a bit ambiguous.
Yeah. Other than he's a floating whale with T-Rex tentacles.
So then she becomes through Amon chaotic evil. But then they find a cure for Zerg.
Well, they at least find a way to put it in remission, right?
Right.
So they got the pill, in the form of a keystone, and they break
Which
it
is
from
a Zelnaga artifact, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know about you, but I'm failing to think of a character going through so many different alignment changes in a series.
I'm sure if I sat down and thought about it, but no, Kerrigan is definitely a roller coaster ride.
Women, right? but whenever she is, zapped with the bug zapper, basically is what that is.
Everything but her hair.
Yeah.
Everything but her hair is good again.
She is her scars.
Oh my god. Right.
They say that they are distinct universes. They aren't. That's what we're going to find out in the next WoW expansion.
Oh my god, now the more that I'm thinking about it, no, Kerrigan really is Illidan.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that Metzin's out, Metzin wanted the two universes unique, right? Nope, they're bringing them together.
So
that's what's happening here.
So who is the Sarah Kerrigan we get for the first 3 missions of Heart of the Swarm?
Oh god. She's still vengeance, but
she still hates Arcturus Minx, but she's being super affectionate to Jim.
Yeah.
She makes a pass at him while they're escaping.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he says something and she's like, "Oh, we'll have sex later."
Yeah, basically.
Literally. Although,
lights
if
off.
you remember, she was. The hair might work for Jim though.
Maybe.
He's been alone a really long time.
Yeah.
But because Joey Ray's not even at the goddamn bar.
Yeah.
He's
If
just
you're thirsty,
sitting there
you're drinking
alone
out the river. But
But so I don't know how this is sounding, but this is the funnest one we've done.
Oh, it's a good time.
It's a blast.
But that's what happens when two dudes just get together and they have a nice, crisp, refreshing Busch Light, wishing they had Michelin tires.
About to grab another one out of the cooler.
Oh, it is a cooler.
And it is definitely the styrofoam cooler.
Oh God, bought at Schnucks.
Yep, that you leave
When
the
you're
river.
here, your family. Schnucks.
That's Olive Garden.
I think they sold that. Unless I'm just gullible as hell, they sold that saying to Jimmy Kimmel, who in turn gifted it to Post Malone.
I hate pop culture.
Anyway, where were we?
So she made we were joking about Jim and Kerrigan having sex.
Where are they? Where is she in alignment at that point? Because she's still vengeance driven. She just doesn't want to kill billions of people.
Right. She hates Arcturus Minsk.
Yep.
But that's but she has extremely good reason to.
Now, that's an interesting one. Where does it put you on the alignment if you're driven by vengeance and by whatever means necessary, you're going to get to your goal? Whether for good or evil, in her case, she would argue that it's for the good of humanity, I'm guessing.
But is it? Right?
But she is going to just make a scorch in the universe to get to him, a scorching path to him. Because she goes back, partially she thinks that they've captured Jim and possibly killed him. But she goes back to the Zerg and kind of becomes the Queen of Blades again in order to kill Minx. Where is she on the alignment spectrum?
So the thing is I think we jumped ahead too far. I think we skipped some alignments because while we're still on the base, while we're still there, when her and Jim are flirting, everything looks good, and if you remember, because she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna kill Arcturus Minx," and Jim's basically like, "Lady,
really,
lady." I just,
he wants to go back and just have a drink with her every night for the rest of their lives.
He just wants what he's always wanted. He just wants Kerrigan safe.
Yep.
That's what Jim Raynor's always wanted. So he's basically like, hey, can we just drop it? And she's not like, she doesn't like grab him by the throat and say like, no, I'm going. Like, she's like, it almost seems for a moment that Kerrigan might be like, you know what? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, it almost seems for a moment where she's like, Jim, that sounds fine. But that's another thing that makes Heart of the Swarm such a good story, is where that goes. That's just, Heart of the Swarm is probably Blizzard's best storytelling they've ever done.
When she's just sitting there on the bed, stretching her arm, you don't really know which way she's gonna go.
That in the test. When Valerian's running those tests, and she's basically like, oh, you've got some Zerg. Oh, looky here, Valerian's got some Zerg. This is my swarm. That's basically what happens. And she looks at the larva. Raise hell, praise down. Like our queen.
Yes.
But so anyway, she gets on that ship to escape the planet, and the Zergling comes over to her.
Oh,
that's kind of her reconnection to the swarm. That's kind of when she's like,
that's where you're too early in it. She gets off the planet, right? But they have a moment right before she gets on the ship where like the bridge blows up between her and
Jim's like, I'll catch up to you.
Yeah, she gets up to what's the name of that capital battle cruiser? I forget what it is now. But anyway, it's Minx, basically his capital ship that they commandeered. Whenever they say they couldn't extract Jim, then she leaves. And so it's only after she fears that they left Jim for dead.
Which is exactly what they did to her. Mm-hmm. And she thinks Valerian did it to Jim. Yeah. So she thinks the whole thing about Valerian going against Daddy's bullshit. He's who he always was. His Daddy's who he... Basically, that whole thing with Jim, where like maybe that little hint that they give you that maybe Kerrigan thinks she could live a peaceful life. She's like, I was stupid.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have ever believed anyone.
Yeah.
They killed Jim. The only thing I care about. And but the Zergling, the most striking thing about the Zergling scene, I can't believe they're that big in comparison to people.
Oh, they're basically
the horse.
A Saint Bernard. No, go back and watch that movie. It's like a Saint Bernard.
Like, go back and watch that movie. Beck.
Yeah.
Go watch that movie.
It's not that big. No, she ain't riding it.
But
she could ski it, but she couldn't ride it. She could ski like 2 of them.
It's funny, ski Saint Bernard. That's who would probably be saving you if you got stranded skiing.
With some whiskey.
The little barrel was. I had no idea that's what that was until. Yeah, it's Grandpa's cough medicine. Yeah, that's the medicine that's in there. But
my cough medicine.
My cough medicine is actually medicine.
Really?
But I'm a responsible adult.
Yeah.
I change the Michelins on my car when needed.
I don't. I need a sponsor. Anyway, but yes, that whole moment.
So
there.
I think we could safely say neutral evil.
Neutral.
Kerrigan's looking out for Kerrigan at this point. And the only reason I say evil is because I don't think we're too far ahead of the Warfield confrontation. She fucked Warfield up.
Yeah, she did.
And Warfield, not only are we told in the previous game, Wings of Liberty, we're shown Warfield's a good man. He's working for the wrong guy.
Yeah.
He's a good man, but he's working for the wrong guy.
His heart's in the right place.
Very, very akin to General Leo in Final Fantasy VI. I know you haven't played Final Fantasy VI, but that's very akin to that. In fact, Warfield's one of the reasons Kerrigan's standing there.
Is Kerrigan paralleled to Sylvanas, though, after that point? Because there's a point where Misha, the little worm thing that's kind of her war advisor, is sitting there not really understanding what moves that Kerrigan has taken. And Kerrigan basically has some lines in conversation with not just her, but some other folks in there, saying that society will never accept them again. And especially when Stukov comes back. Stukov's all messed up and whatnot. Yeah. He even relates. He's like, there's no way that we can ever go back to our human people. They'll never accept us just because of the way they look. Forsaken.
Oh yeah. There's definitely so we go from shades of Arthas to shades of Sylvanas. Definitely. But then here's the thing. I'm very, very confident that she's neutral evil, but the one thing that makes me hesitant to say that is when Zeratul shows up and starts talking, she listens.
Yep.
They have that awesome fight cinematic. That incredible fight cinematic. Yeah. That's in Heart of the Swarm, isn't it?
Yes.
So what?
Oh no. That's the visions and Wings of Liberty.
Oh, that's right. Yep. So at this point though, I'm still safe to say neutral evil. But when she finds out that Jim's alive, because man, we didn't talk about that one the other day. Another great Jim line when he sees that she's going back to Queen of the Blades, and he's like, "Do you understand what we did to save you from this?"
Oh yeah.
And basically, because I think that's when Jim starts to, because Jim's like, "Do you know what we went through to cure you of this?" And that's kind of when like the whole thing of Heart of the Swarm comes around, because Kerrigan's kind of like this is who I am, like it's kind of a, but then like what does she say, because I can't remember what Jim says. He's like, tell that to Phoenix. Like,
oh, tell that to the 8 billion people you murdered.
But to tell that to Phoenix was the one that kind of ended on, because Jim, sort of that cowboy thing, they ain't like me, but I respect them.
They do a lot of fancy talking. But no, is she neutral evil up into a point though? Because still, I keep coming back to this one part, and that's where she's obviously wanting to go for vengeance. She doesn't want to be the leader of the Zerg, but she wants to set the Zerg up so that they're fine and dandy and can prosper in whatever way they can.
Well, at this point, we've established that the Zerg are her people. Like that whole meeting.
It's like she's being noble to them. So is she lawful good to them?
Well, that whole meeting with...
Oh, that's an interesting question. can you have different alignments based on points of view?
According to Dungeons and Dragons, no. There's who you are.
Gotcha.
There's who you are, and that's going to influence how you act.
Okay.
But so that meeting with Jim, I think, did change things.
Yeah.
It did change things because you know the assault on Core Hall.
Yeah.
Basically, what happens is you know, Jim's like, I'm not going to help you do this. Like, cause she asks him, she's like, hey, we need help. And he's like, nah, the Hyperion's not into, you know, help. That's what it's called, right? The Hyperion.
The Hyperion,
yeah. Yeah. But he's like, we're not going to do this. And he winds up showing up. And she kills as few people as possible.
Right.
You know, she doesn't just swarm Core Hall. So she, you know, and people could probably argue that's out of respect for Jim. I do think that Kerrigan found some balance, whereas, like, I was born human, but I am Zerg. Like, I think she's found some balance. I think she's found, you know, she's accepted her place as this unique being in the universe.
She can't dye her hair blonde.
Nope, it's not really hair.
Oh, sorry, it's not going back to red.
Right.
She was a redhead.
She was redheaded, yep.
Yeah, she was.
You're thinking Nova.
Yeah, Nova.
The palette swap.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Although they did give Nova more of a I don't even know how to describe it. She's got harder features than Kerrigan. Kerrigan's human form had very, you know.
Oh yeah. Kind of a rounder chin, whereas Nova's a little more squared off.
Yeah, Nova looks like a soldier.
Yeah.
Where Kerrigan absolutely was, but she looked more like the main love interest in a video game.
Yeah.
We'll say that, which is another great thing that StarCraft did. I mean, everything leading up to it is just Jim and Kerrigan are just, you know, that classic action movie romance, and then belay that order. It's the greatest line in gaming. I mean, it changed literally the entire dynamic of that series. Anyway.
You know what would have been better? If he was cracking a bush.
Belay that order.
As he's walking off. Yeah.
The Stone Cold thing.
Yeah.
They throw him 2 bush lights. He cracks them over his head. You're going to belay that order, and that's the bottom line. Because Arcturus Mink said so.
That's right. Oh my god.
Glass breaks.
Yeah.
But, so I think then we finally come full circle, and it's the ending. It's one of my favorite video game endings ever is the Heart of the Swarm ending. Me and Don have talked about it all the time. It's just a great game ending because it's like nobody got what they wanted, but it's okay. That's just the way it's got to be.
Well, Kerrigan got what she wanted. She killed Mix.
No, she didn't. She left Jim behind.
Well,
she's flying away from him.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. So
does she change alignment at that?
That's what I'm wondering, because everything we see from her in Legacy of the Void, she's taken up her role. She's doing what Zeratul wanted her to do.
Yeah, she's taking the fight to Amon.
She is because Zeratul was the one that realized, like, Kerrigan, you know, is the weapon to use against Amon.
Yeah.
So
it was even prophesized.
Is she good again? She set up her people to prosper without her.
Yeah.
She left she did not just say, like, ew, you know, I'm not one of you anymore. I'm on my way to become a Zelnaga.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah.
You know, and she didn't. She took that mission and killed as few humans as possible.
Right.
What is she?
Lawful good at that point?
Nah, definitely not lawful.
That would be what did you describe it? Neutral good.
Yeah, I would say neutral. I would say a neutral good.
I keep getting lawful confused,
right?
With because you're kind of following your society, right?
Yeah, Paladins are lawful good. Captain America in the first Avengers movie is lawful good.
So that would mean that Artanis is lawful good, right?
Artanis is lawful good as hell.
What's that make Matt Horner? Neutral good?
Matt is extremely neutral good.
And then Jim goes back to true neutral.
Jim's chaotic good.
Oh, chaotic good.
Jim is 100% chaotic good because he
even as
Marshall.
everything. Because I know we disagree on the ending of StarCraft 2: Legacy of the Void.
The
but
epilogue.
he does leave everything. And he hasn't been heard
You know
from
what?
by anybody.
He's chaotic good, but he's done.
Yeah.
He's done. He did his part.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could be chaotic good and still be like, you know what, this old cowboy's just gonna drink himself to death because he lost his woman. Like, you know, that's you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
He but God, that's just so. I mean, they're floating away from each other. She says, "Thanks, Jim. Thanks for everything." He says, "My pleasure, darling. Always was."
Yeah.
God, it's so good. That's
yeah. It was.
She never showed up at Joey Ray's bar. I don't care what you say. That was not her.
You're right. It wasn't. It's in his mind.
No, I don't think that. I don't think that either. Because your thing is he walks out to the desert and dies. I don't.
He's done, like you said. He has moved on to the next life.
I haven't read the.
What is Zelnaga Kerrigan?
Probably what all the rest of the Zelnaga are neutral.
Just true neutral.
Just true neutral. Just absolute
life.
Like way above.
Yeah.
The simple mortal ideas of morality.
Is that what most of the time all gods typically are? That are similar to that and other.
Yeah. When you have gods that like exist above, like, you know, everything. Now, like the traditional Dungeons & Dragons campaign settings, like Forgotten Realms and stuff, their gods are based more on the Greek pantheon. Mm. So, of course, they're almost more fickle than mortals.
Yeah.
Very
emotional.
Right. But when you have anything that's like elder god, kind of, you know, they just exist outside the realm of what we believe our morals would guide us to.
This would be an interesting thing if they did it, but what if they do that same thing with Sylvanas that they did with Kerrigan?
That looks like where BFA is going. That
Really?
looks like where it's going. It looks like Sylvanas is going to be this key to...
Is she going to... Because I don't know who would be next in line, really, to take the Forsaken or the Horde. But
the Forsaken would be that guy, that one dude that's always around her. He's got a name. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but she's got like a second in command that's always around her. Now, for War Chief of the Horde, I would want Sarfang. That's who I would want. I just want the Horde in the hands of an orc again.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with the other. It's just, founded by orcs.
They were on the podcast I was listening to. They were arguing that I think they were saying Sarfang is just pissed that he can't retire, and that there's no really other good leader in the orc faction.
Oh.
They feel like
His son died at Wrathgate. His son got his warrior's death.
Yeah.
That's what he wants.
Yeah.
He just... in fact, Old Soldier is... If you haven't watched Old Soldier yet, I keep forgetting people are listening to that. I get so engrossed in the conversation.
Oh, right.
But if you have not watched Old Soldier, I think we mentioned this on another one. Go watch Old Soldier. Yeah. It's incredible.
They want... What's his name? He's a Tauren. Starts with a C.
Bane?
No, that's his son. Cairn?
Cairn's dead.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Cairn's dead. That's why Bane is their leader now.
Oh.
Cairn, he died in a duel with
what expansion was
Garrosh Hellscream. That was I want to say it might have been Kato when Garrosh took over.
Really?
But what it was Garrosh had no idea in the duel that his blades were poisoned.
Wow.
That other old Tauren lady poisoned his blades. And that's what sucked is Garrosh. I want someone to hold Thrall accountable for putting Garrosh in charge. I want Thrall to come back to the Horde.
Yeah.
The Green Jesus stuff is old.
Yeah.
It's old. But it's not going to happen. We're going to have some sort of they're going to mirror the universes again. Sylvanas is going to turn out to be, the key to stopping these old gods. And
yeah. We'll have to find a keystone and
cure her of forsakenness.
Turn her hair back to purple.
But,
whatever color it was. Maybe it was always purple.
What alignment is Zeratul?
Neutral good.
I hate that we keep falling back to that one, but I feel like Zeratul...
There's as we get going along,
he had
a lot
to go
of neutral good.
Here's the thing, though. Zeratul had to really, really, really buck against Protoss society to get that stuff done.
Yeah, it took a whole faction of them.
Yeah, and his people hated him.
Yeah.
His people hated him by the time he got back because he killed that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
The Protoss have gender, right? There are male and female
Yep.
Protoss.
Yep. Celindus is one of the.
The dark Protoss have matrons.
Yeah, they're a matriarchal society.
But here's my question, and I've actually Google searched this extensively, and apparently Blizzard has just never answered this. How do they breed?
Oh, that's a good question.
They eat through UV rays.
I didn't know that.
There's a little pop-up that'll say like they can derive nourishment from ultraviolet rays, even if it's reflected by a moon. The Kala obviously keeps them kept. The Kala's gone.
Yeah.
But it kept them connected on an emotional level that we could never understand. So much so that Celindus was very hesitant to give that up.
Yeah.
Even though Amon was gonna fuck her shit up.
Yeah. There's so many good characters in
StarCraft
Warcraft and StarCraft.
But StarCraft has the better characters, I'm sorry.
They're pretty look how long we talked about one, right?
Kerrigan's the best character that Blizzard ever did, probably.
Yeah. And we could probably, I mean, if we really thought about it, does Jim go through a similar roller coaster? Or is he just
I think he's solid, chaotic good. I think he's
always
solid. The particular evil that Tychus is would be very interesting. Because you want to say that he's lawful because he's following Arcturus Mink's orders to the T, but Arcturus Mink's got a bomb wrapped around that boy's neck. So
yeah.
I love how like everyone points out that he's still in the bodysuit, and no one thinks to really question why.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Like,
well, they do. They address that in the story.
I know Matt Horner at one point's like, "What's that man doing in a full suit of armor on my bridge?" And I know that bodysuit didn't help him when Raynor beat the fuck out of him.
No, but they
buy me a new Jeep.
They do address that because there's a scene where Raynor has said, "Who's got a gun to your head?" He understands that now, but then he just lets it go because he's his boy.
Right.
And he's like, "Whatever it is, man, just don't let it get in the way of us." And then it does, and
Raynor waits till the last minute to shoot him.
Yeah,
he absolutely does.
Yeah.
Which is odd because he's in a full suit of armor. If he would have just kept his visor down. Like, why is that not... Why? You know why? He's self-conscious about it because Raynor's skull thing is a lot cooler.
Oh my God.
On his visor. It's badass, dude.
Bad.
Like,
yeah. Like, what do you...
Do you remember the original StarCraft manual? And it would show and it was all those illustrations where like they had all the shit written on their stuff.
Yeah.
My favorite one is that one Space Marines... on his gauntlet, it says pacifist.
Yeah. God, I forgot all about that.
And that was another thing. Is StarCraft 2 really reminded me of old school Blizzard? Like it
reminded me of metal albums, things like heavy metal,
especially Heart of the Swarm.
Oh my God,
Heart of the Swarm was really heavy metal.
Yes, the artwork, if anything, just in the instruction manuals back in the day. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, super good, super awesome, super. Anyway, well, we're coming up on we're almost at 50 minutes or whatnot. Any final thoughts or whatnot or what?
Play StarCraft 2. It's free. If you've not played it.
Oh, the anthology is worth going for all of those stories and just actually.
Is it just Wings of Liberty that's free?
Maybe.
If Wings of Liberty is the only one that's free, play it. You'll get hooked. You'll want to play the rest.
Oh my God, yeah. It's. I mean, they're no more than probably $20.
All of StarCraft together couldn't be more than 25. All of it. That's remastered. That's Just and StarCraft is so intimidating to people. You don't have to be like a.
Oh, definitely not the campaign.
Right, that's what I mean. In the campaign, that story, just go experience that. Absolutely.
Like people really, they probably focus on StarCraft and StarCraft 2 more for the esports side of it, but really, the campaign, that is a game that did both the multiplayer and the campaign just perfect.
The campaign is really...
Yeah, that is just pure good writing.
Yep, absolutely. And Blizzard, if you're listening to this, or I'm sorry, Activision, the people really in charge, if you're listening to this, just give us more StarCraft.
Yeah,
that's all
please.
we want. Cancel Diablo 4, don't care. You could skip the next expansion for WoW, for all I care. Skip it.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Just give us more StarCraft.
Yeah, I don't care if it's in the form of an RTS or an MMO. RTS.
Right. Definitely make it an RTS, but if it has to be Galaxy of StarCraft, I can live with that.
Yes.
Hell, make it an MMO. Maybe you'll pay some fucking attention to
Oh
it.
my god, yes. God. Anyway, well, this is Adam and Beau, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you.